Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this in the future. Now this is going to be a bit of a different video, but don't worry, nonetheless it's still going to be a film review, and I want to explore the fact of what if the toys we grew up loving turned against us? As you know, I am an avid action figure collector, and I love to collect things from Funko, NECA, McFarlane Toys, and so on and so forth. Even Marvel Legends figures, I have a couple in my collection. But what happens, like I said before, if the toys we love so much turned against us? So, tonight we're going to be taking a look at two films that deal with evil toys. We're going to be taking a look at 2021's Toys of Terror, which was just released, and 2020's Jack in the Box. Both of these are B-rated films, so take it as you will. Some people hate B-rated films, and then there's other people who absolutely love B-rated films. But anyway, reading first from the back of the box for Jack in the Box, we have when a vintage Jack in the Box is unearthed and donated to a museum in the heart of the woods. It's not long before staff member Casey Reynolds has reason to believe the creepy clown doll inside has a life of its own. As Casey discovers, and his colleagues are dying one by one, will he find a way to end the nightmare? Or will he fall victim to the box's curse? Killer toys for girls and boys. Just before Christmas, young siblings Zoe and Franklin and their family move into a secluded mansion with a dark past. While the adults focus on renovating the place, the bored kids find a toy chest hidden in the attic and are delighted when the toys inside magically come to life. But Bivara's events begin to take place. Events that threaten the family's safety. And begin to take place. Events that threaten the safety of everyone in the house. Christmas dawns and with gifts piled under the tree. But soon the body count rises and blood starts flowing. In this original scary tale that will have you screaming for the holidays. Now, one of the things that both of these two movies do have in common after watching them is that they're both very, I'm not going to say they're bad movies, but they're not good either. They're very generic in their storyline. I mean, the story of the Jack in the Box, which is the first movie we're going to be discussing right now, the Jack in the Box story basically is about a couple who finds this Jack in the Box and they bring it to a museum and they fix it up and everything like that and they have it on display in the museum. But then weird things start happening as the Jack in the Box is very, very weird, and all the stuff, the urban legends situated around this Jack in the Box are very creepy. And so they soon discover that the Jack in the Box, there's more to the Jack in the Box than they originally thought. Inside this particular Jack in the Box is not a doll. Rather, instead, inside this particular Jack in the Box is a demon that can only be brought back into the Jack in the Box if it has taken so many souls with it. I know, very generic horror movie plot. So rather than this Jack in the Box being a toy per se, it's more like a demon that's kind of stuck inside of a divot box and can only be released if somebody winds up the box. And of course, that ends up happening, and the demon Jack in the Box begins its reign of terror. The second movie here, Killer Toys of Terror, is really one of those more laid-back movies. The movie itself is really set up to be a scary movie. The movie itself promises that it's going to be tons of gore and violence, but at the end of the day, it's a really shitty toy horror movie. I mean, the toys don't really do anything in the movie that's really scary. I mean, they fail several times at trying to kill anybody. And if anything, the gore is just settled down to two scenes where characters inherently almost die, but never actually do. The movie itself is just bent on the idea of, oh, this could have been a really scary movie, except they just didn't do the things necessary to make it a really enjoyable horror movie. The movie itself missed out on so many opportunities while they were busy trying to set up the atmosphere for being in a really creepy abandoned mansion, and they really neglected the idea of making the antagonist, in this case the evil toys that they found in the tool chest, making them the scary part of the movie, and instead tried to more focus on the atmospheric take of the movie, which is, I guess, works for some movies, but here the potential kind of was lacking. And the movie ended up being one of those shitty movies that you watch when you have nothing better to do. Both of these movies are definitely good watches, but like I said, they're more like movies that you'll watch if there's nothing better for you to watch in your library. Because there's nothing really going for these movies. Like I said, the premise and the plot for both of these movies is very generic. You have one side of the scope being a demonic Jack in the Box, and the other side of the scope is just some toys that want to kill you. That's pretty much it. There's nothing very special about either of these movies, and the horror that they do play for each of these movies isn't very good. I mean, there's a scene in the Toys of Terror movie that's actually pretty good, but they never do anything with it, and they miss out on a lot of it. There's a video game that one of the characters finds and starts playing, a vintage video game, and basically it can tell the future. So the girl goes and plays this video game, and whatever happens to the character happens to somebody in the house in real time. So if the character dies a gruesome death in her video game, somebody dies a gruesome death in the house, which I thought was a cool premise, but they never did anything with it. But these are okay movies, like I said before. It's really hit or miss whether you enjoy them, whether you enjoy B-rated movies. I mean, they're simply just creature features at the end of the day that really don't hold up that well. But let me know in the comments below. Are you interested in checking either of these movies out after what I've said? Have you yourself watched any of these movies and did you enjoy them? Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, do take care and have a great night.